I'm gonna start this video off by saying that I am absolutely sick, so I'm probably gonna sound like garbage recording this. I also did not get to make that much progress because I'm sick, and also partially because of school. But either way, I did manage to make some content that I can show off for this month, so here we go. By the way, I did make progress on my World's Hardest Game clone, but I'll be uploading a separate video on that shortly, and if it's out, go watch it. As I said, I am a bit sick, so I have no clue when I'll be uploading it. Anyway, last month I started tackling a new project of mine. It's a game idea I've had since I was probably 8 or so about 5 years. It's a simple platformer where you play as bugs to avoid things like frogs, fly swatters, or any commonly known things that harm insects. To fight these enemies, you'll collect bread that charges up a meter that lets you attack in different ways. Along the way, you'll collect a few new insects that provide you with new abilities such as flying that will help you choose how you go about each level. But enough about the information that I don't have footage for, let's dive into the progress that I made this month. The first thing I did was import the player and ground tile sprites to the game, and then I imported player movement. After that, I made animated flowing water sprites, then manipulated player gravity to add the illusion that you were actually in water. I made a lot of variables that I could tweak in the inspector for future bugs, including simple things like movement speed, jump strength, or other booleans that determine if going into the water uses up your jumps or something along those lines. But I'll likely talk about those more when I add more bugs. It's a bit of a mess, so if anyone would like to help me figure out how to do this without adding a bunch of variables, I'd really appreciate it. After that, I coded in the animations for the player, as well as a simple health system so that I wouldn't have to worry about it when I started making the enemies. The first and only enemy I made this month was a frog. It was an enemy that was simple to avoid because it stayed still, and all you had to do was stay far away from it. Despite being such a simple enemy, figuring out how to make it work was way more painful. I managed to make the box collider slowly move left and then back right once it reached certain spots to match up with the animation. And it was working great, but this thing was very choppy, and then I got really angry after realizing that the box collider length was proportional to the offset, which means I could just move both by the same amount and then divide the offset by 2 so it looked way smoother. Also, since the frog was 32 by 32, but it was twice as big as 32 by 32 on the grid, I shrunk it down to the right size, and then quickly made this cool background so I could have the screenshot to use for the thumbnail. I was also planning on working on the breadcrumb system that I explained earlier, but obviously since school had to backstab me, I didn't end up getting that much done, leading this to be all the progress that I made this month. If you have any idea for my game's name, as well as any enemies I could add, bosses, or other bugs, let me know in the comments. That's all for this month. I don't really have anything else to say, so see you guys in April.